Good evening, I'm John Carter. Welcome to Poland Daily. The Vice Speaker of the Polish Senate has revealed that Poland's negotiations with the US about stationing permanent American military bases in Poland have reached an advanced stage. The topic could be up for discussion at the NATO summit, which will start tomorrow in Brussels.
Adam Bielan stated during a radio interview that it's quite likely that Poles could soon hear some good news about US military bases in Poland. We are involved in intensive negotiations with the Americans about changing the status of the US troops stationed in Poland. We want their rotational presence to change into permanent military bases. The negotiations have reached an advanced stage, and I believe that chances are good that the discussions will be conducted successfully in the near future. The groundbreaking decision to station US troops in Poland on a rotational basis was taken at the 2016 NATO summit in Warsaw. We have been laying the foundations for permanent US military bases in Poland since last May. Ever since the 2016 NATO summit in Warsaw, we have had a permanent presence of US troops in our country, but so far they have been here on a rotational basis. It's possible that the question of permanent bases will be on the agenda at this week's NATO summit in Brussels. If Russia started a war of aggression against NATO members, and that's what NATO is preparing for, permanent American military bases here would guarantee that NATO is ready for battle. The columnist also argues that permanent bases aren't just important for Poland, but the entire region.
The construction of the castle on water in Stobnica has been an ongoing project for 3 years now. Some people are comparing its size to the castle in Malbork. The castle is being constructed in a part of the nowe forest, designated to the protection of several species of special birds, prompting the general public to question who gave the permission for its construction.
Today, the agents of the Central Anti-Corruption Bureau entered the headquarters of the Regional Directorate for Environmental Protection in Poznań. The Ministry of the Environment has started urgent construction inspections. We want to have direct information on the entire process, and we can't take the next steps that will allow us to stop people who are supposed to stop this investment to avoid making this area worse. The construction of a large castle in the nowe forest as the protected area of Nature 2000 has aroused great controversy. It is difficult to build a house 100 meters from the lake. We know that the construction supervision clung to the thin carriage, and here it turns out that you can make up the island in the area of Nature 2000. The Poznań-based DJT company is behind the investment. The owners of the company are the Nowak family, which was associated with the huge clothing brand Solar. We wanted to ask about the investments, but they did not answer the phone.
Abonent chwilowo niedostępny.
In 2015, a report on the impact of investments on the environment for the needs of the Regional Directorate for Environmental Protection in Poznań was published. In the same year, DJT company received building permission. The report says, although the use of the land designated for the investment potentially involves the risk of disturbing birds through its excessive penetration, it is not possible to demonstrate a negative impact on the viability of their populations in the Nature 2000 area under consideration. The document was signed by Professor Piotr Trojanowski, who protested against cutting down trees attacked by borers in the Białowieska forest. Why is the ecologist community silent now?
The incumbent Polish president, Andrzej Duda, will most likely be the ruling party's candidate in the 2020 presidential election. The party leader, Jarosław Kaczyński, confirmed the news in an interview for Szczeci Weekly. He also added that the official decision will still have to be made by the party's political council and the party congress.
The leader of the Conservative Law and Justice Party, Jarosław Kaczyński, stated that the party's candidate in the next presidential election will be President Duda. Kaczyński told Szczeci Weekly in our interview that the final decision will be made by the party's political council and that it will be most likely decided at the party's convention. According to a June poll, Duda would beat the former Prime Minister Donald Tusk in the second round of Poland's 2020 presidential election if both entered the race. Roughly 52.5% of those surveyed by the researcher Instytut Badań Polster in mid-June said they would vote for Duda, who has been Poland's president since 2015, while 47.5% said they would support Tusk, who was Polish prime minister from 2007 to 2014 and is now the head of the European Council, a key European Union leadership position. The survey, commissioned by the Super Express tabloid, was conducted on June 13th and 14th on a sample of around 1 million respondents.
The German Minister of Interior, Horst Seehofer, has presented his long-promised master plan for immigration. His dispute with the German Chancellor Angela Merkel regarding the country's immigration reform nearly caused the government to collapse last week.
As he presented the plan, Seehofer stated that the goal of his master plan was not to provoke, but to establish order. The plan still hinges on whether Germany will be able to sign agreements with Italy and Greece, allowing Germany to send back the migrants who applied for asylum in the former two countries before arriving in Germany. The goal is to turn people back at the border already. Now we need to reach an agreement with Italy and Greece. With Austria, things are clear for those who ask for asylum. The Minister of Interior also said that Germany can take in an unlimited number of asylum seekers. The leitmotif is the creation of order and the guarantee for humanity. We need to strike a balance in Germany between the readiness to help and practicality. No country on this planet can take in unlimited numbers of refugees. Seehofer stressed that all sexual offenders will be deported under the new immigration plan. We have a case right now of a sexual offender who is sentenced to 3 years, and so far it's impossible to deport him. In all these cases, I will personally ensure that the deportation will happen. We need safer and more efficient asylum procedures, and that's why I changed the leadership of the Federal Office for Migration and Refugees. Seehofer is the head of Angela Merkel's Bavarian sister party CSU and will be challenged by the far-right party AfD in his false regional election in Bavaria. By cracking down on mass immigration, Seehofer hopes to minimize CSU's losses to the AfD.
Thank you for joining us here this evening at Poland Daily. I'm John Carter. Join us after the break for Poland Daily Weather, and after that with me for Poland Daily Business.